Hey, horror lovers. I see about 80% of you are watching without subscribing. If you're enjoying these stories, tap that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling me which story got under your skin and where you're watching from. Your interaction helps spread the horror to every dark corner of the internet and helps this channel grow. Now, let the horror begin. When I moved into the Harlem precinct back in 2013, I'd already spent 12 years chasing the worst New York had to offer: rapists, gang enforcers, child predators. The kind of evil that wears you down, makes you believe you've seen it all. But nothing prepared me for what happened at 326 Lenox Avenue. You won't find this in any system. No official case number, no trial, no conviction. Because by the time the department realized what was happening, the room had been gutted by fire, and the only evidence left was what I carried in my head. It started with the screaming. Tenants had been filing complaints about loud, blood-curdling screams coming from Unit 3E. The landlord, a man named Kincaid, told officers it was nonsense, said the unit had been vacant for a year. He refused to open it. When my partner and I arrived, we found the door covered in chain locks, rusted padlocks, and something far stranger: symbols drawn in a faded, chalky red. Crosses, spirals, runes that didn't look Christian or even human. The air near the door felt heavier. Wrong. And the smell, something between damp stone and sorrow. Not rot, not mold, just sadness. I pushed Kincaid, told him we'd breach the unit if tenants kept filing reports. That's when his hands started to shake. He said, "If you open that room, they'll start dying again." When I asked who he meant, he whispered, "The girls." We thought he was delusional, maybe senile, but something in his voice kept gnawing at me. So when my partner stepped away to call in the nuisance report, I made a choice. I forced the door open. The lock gave way with a sharp screech. Kincaid backed away, his voice trembling as he said, "What have you done?" The moment I entered, the air shifted. It felt wrong in a way I can't fully explain. Time felt distorted, like I was standing somewhere frozen between moments. There was an iron-framed bed at the center of the room. Dried blood stained the mattress, and covering every inch of the walls, drawn in chalk and soot, was the same phrase repeated again and again: "Complete the ritual." Then I saw her, a girl in red sitting cross-legged on the floor. She looked up, smiled, and vanished. That night, the dreams began. At first, she was just standing in the corner of my room, watching me in silence. Then came the others, girls in white, barefoot, pale, silent, 14 of them. Sometimes they surrounded my bed. Other times I'd hear them whispering behind me through the mirror. But the girl in red always stood apart, never speaking, just watching, as if she was waiting. And when she finally did speak in one of the dreams, she didn't ask for help. She said, "You freed me. Now I will complete the ritual." I woke up gasping, soaked in sweat. And somehow, I knew it wasn't just a dream. The word ritual haunted me. I needed answers. I started digging through court records, old building permits, psychiatric reports. The deeper I went, the worse it got. The girl in red, her name was Eleanor Kincaid. She was the landlord's daughter. As a teenager, Eleanor had shown signs of severe psychosis. Police reports mentioned ritual behavior, animal sacrifices, and disturbing drawings, but no charges ever stuck. Her father made sure of that. Then, over a 10-year period, 14 young women had gone missing across New York City, all under 25. None of them were connected, on paper, but one detail linked them. Every single one had spent their final night at 326 Lenox Avenue. Some had stayed with friends, others had just moved in. and all of them had been seen by neighbors, by mailmen, by maintenance, just before they vanished. After Eleanor's final breakdown, after the 14th girl disappeared, Mr. Kincaid did something terrible. He sealed her inside that room. He brought in a priest. They used scripture, symbols, and rituals, trying to trap her spirit, to stop whatever she had become. And then they left her, alive, screaming. She died behind that door, alone, and for years she stayed bound, silent, until I opened the door. The disappearances started again, but this time they were taken from inside the building, behind locked doors, no signs of forced entry, no footage of anyone coming or going. 3 girls went missing within weeks, each one last seen entering their apartment, each one gone without a trace. By the time the 6th girl vanished, half the building had emptied. Residents reported hearing a woman crying through the walls. Others swore they saw a girl in red standing in the hallway, only to watch her fade straight into the walls. Then I received an anonymous email. No message, just a single voice note attached. It was Mr. Kincaid, recorded the night before he died. He was crying, whispering. She forgave me. She came to my bed, said I was free, but she's not Eleanor anymore. She's something else. And she said I have to die to complete the ritual. The audio cut out. The next morning, Kincaid was found dead. No wounds, no signs of trauma, just a look on his face that froze the coroner. 2 days later, a fire erupted at 326 Lenox. No gas leaks, no arson signs. Investigators said the blaze began inside Unit 3E and burned upward, not outward, as if something had wanted to erase the inside. By the time firefighters arrived, the entire 3rd floor had collapsed. Kincaid's body was found near the iron bed, curled in a posture that looked like prayer. The building was condemned, demolished. Officially, it was labeled an accident, but I know better. That fire wasn't random. It was her final act, the last piece, her way of completing the ritual, or maybe burning it clean to start again, somewhere else. When I first moved to New York to start college at NYU, I felt overwhelmed by how massive and fast the city was. I wasn't used to so many people, so many lights, or the way the noise seemed constant no matter what time it was. But somehow, Washington Square Park became the one place where I could relax. Even though it was busy, there was something calming about sitting on a bench, listening to the fountain and watching people pass by. It quickly became part of my routine. That's when I started noticing her. She was a young woman, probably in her early 20s, always wearing a red hoodie. She sat alone on the same bench every day, just under the arch, always facing forward with the hood pulled over her head. She never used a phone or listened to music, and I never once saw her talking to anyone. She didn't even seem to look up. It was as if she was frozen there, perfectly still, like she was waiting for something, or maybe just lost in her own world. At first, I didn't think anything of it. New York has its fair share of strange characters, and no one really questions that kind of thing. I figured she was going through something or just liked being alone. My roommate Kara and I started to make small jokes about her. We even gave her a nickname, Red Statue, because she never moved. One night, Kara came back from a late class looking unsettled. She told me she had passed by the girl, and for the first time, the girl had looked directly at her. She didn't say anything or smile. She just stared in complete silence, eyes locked on Kara as she walked by. It made me uncomfortable, but I brushed it off. I told myself it was probably just a weird moment, but about a week later, Kara didn't come home. At first, I assumed she was with her boyfriend, or maybe she had decided to crash at a friend's place. But the next day, when she didn't text me back and her location wasn't showing up, I started to worry. Her stuff was still in the room. Her laptop, her charger, her wallet. None of it was missing. She hadn't taken anything with her. The university sent out a notice saying she was officially reported missing. The police got involved quickly, but they didn't find any signs of a struggle or any clue about where she could have gone. The only information they had was that Kara had last been seen walking near Washington Square Park. Something about that felt too familiar. I started looking online, not just news reports, but old threads and student forums. I wasn't expecting anything, but what I found made my stomach turn. There were posts going back years, all from different people, mentioning strange disappearances linked to the park. A student who went missing after talking to a girl on a bench. A tourist who asked someone for directions and was never seen again. A street musician who regularly performed by the arch, until one night he simply stopped showing up. And then I saw it, the one detail that connected them all. Each person had been seen speaking with a girl in a red hoodie shortly before they disappeared. One post from a year earlier said, "She didn't seem dangerous, just quiet, but the way she looked at you made you feel like you weren't really there." Another person wrote, "I thought she was homeless. I gave her food. She didn't say thank you, didn't even nod. She just took it and stared. I didn't think about it again until my friend vanished 3 days later." The NYPD never made a public statement connecting these cases. There were no official links, no suspect, no arrests. The girl in the red hoodie wasn't even listed as a person of interest. But if you talk to students who've been at NYU for a few years, they all seem to know about her. Some say it's just a local myth, a story passed down to scare freshmen. Others act like it's something you're not supposed to talk about. Like doing so might attract her attention. 2 nights ago, I saw her again. She was on the same bench under the arch, sitting exactly as I remembered. But something had changed. This time, the hood was down. Her hair was long and dark, parted neatly. Her face was pale, and her expression was completely blank. She didn't look tired or angry. She just looked empty, like there was no emotion left behind her eyes at all. As I walked past, she slowly turned her head and stared straight at me. She didn't speak or blink. She just watched me. I haven't gone back since. I don't know who she is or what she wants, but I'm not the only one who's seen her. People have been disappearing for years, and whether or not the police want to admit it, there's something deeply wrong about that park. Maybe she's just a mentally unstable woman who spends time in the same place every day. Maybe she's part of something more organized, something hidden beneath the surface of this city. All I know is that Kara spoke to her, and Kara never came back.